So what I'm going to do today is go through my evening routine. It is evening where I'm at right now, and I haven't done anything. So this is a dirty face from the day. Haven't washed it or even have done nothing with since this morning, since doing my AM routine. And then as I'm waiting for a few things to sink in a little bit, I will do my final Spring Box review for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start get the hot water going. Well, I jump into the first step for me, which is my vacuum cleaner cleansing oil. Okay, so when I first started using this, I used too little, and I felt I was having to like push and pull a lot, and I realized when I added more by accident once that it was much easier and more slippery, and it was easier to work it into certain areas that I felt like I needed more attention on. So I'll show you how much I use. I'm probably gonna get it wrong today because I'm doing it on camera, but can you guys see that? I don't want it to slide down my hand, but ooh, awkward angles. I do the two-handed approach, and then I get it all over my face, and then I gently work it in. I pay close attention to my nose because this is one of the areas that I used to get a lot of blackheads, a lot of congestion. I also pay close attention down here on my chin and around my mouth. So right here is one of my trouble spots, and on my chin. I also don't forget over here, I know I'm probably not the only one who gets breakouts along their hairline, and that's because you're getting oils from your scalp and your hair along there, so you don't want to forget that area. I get on here, then I always get my eyebrows, a little back and forth, and I don't normally put it on my eyes unless I'm also taking off eye makeup, which I'm not wearing any makeup right now, so that's that. If I have a lot of time and I feel like it, I might just spend a little more time doing, I have a little dried, I think it's dried sebum right here, but sometimes I'll take a few extra minutes and just work on, it went away and then it came back. I also have a spot down here along my lip that does the same thing, so I'll work it in circles. Okay, the water's hot, so then I take my clean washcloth. I get it in nice hot water, and then I do what I've learned from Marissa. Hi Melissa, thanks for joining us. And I press the warm washcloth, and then I start wiping away. And I always wipe out and up so that I'm not adding to the work that gravity's doing on my skin already. Up there. Then I will rinse that, give that a quick rinse. And then I re-wet my hands so that you can see how wet they are. Then it's Rose Foaming Cleanser. Try to find it so it's not so bright. Always shake this guy. Okay. This is a brand new one. I just got it. I haven't opened it yet, so definitely need some shaking. I'm going to do one more shake. But even if it's not brand new, it's always a good idea to shake your products first, especially things like your cleansers, because some of the ingredients will settle, and this way you're getting everything when you're using it. So this, I use a little bit less than the oil. That's about how much I use. And then if my hands feel at all dry, I run them under the water again. Because for me, that's the key, is having just enough. See the bubbles? I'll try to get closer so you can see how much actual bubbles I get. It's not a lot, it's a very light lather. I'll go back over the eyebrows, in between the eyes, circle on the nose. And I'm trying to not, you know, push and pull and push and pull. Just be as gentle as I can with my skin. If I don't have enough water on my hands, I'll notice things starting to feel sticky. And sometimes I actually notice a different smell when that happens. So if that starts to happen to you, just run your hand under the water, just enough to wet it. And that should be all the moisture that you need. So I'll do a quick eye. Okay, now it's time for the water again. And I do the same thing all over again with the washcloth. Warm washcloth. Hi, Anne. Happy waking. Anne says she just woke up. Okay. Don't forget your lovely eyebrows. Okay. So now I've done my double cleanse. A quick rinse out my washcloth. I don't use a clean washcloth every single day. Probably every 2 to 3 days I change my washcloth out, and I only use it for my face. But I have really taken to heart, and here's my clean face towel. I do like keep this just for my face. I've really taken to heart trying to keep everything as clean as possible. I've always been someone who's cleaned my sheets once a week and replaced my pillowcases. But I haven't always been as diligent about like my face towel and my washcloth. And so I've been really trying to do that, and I have seen a decrease in my breakouts. So I think nothing else is not hurting it, but I do think it's helping. Anne says that the grandsons were here this weekend, 5 and almost 2. That sounds like a lot of energy. No wonder you had a nap. So I've now just patted dry my skin, so it's dry and fresh and feels nice and smooth. This light is a little bit, it's less than ideal that I have right here, but this is what I got to work with, so this is what you're getting. So then I do Asian Powerhouse Serum. There we go. Within the K Beauty steps, this works as the essence step. I use 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of my sample, and then I pat it in my skin. And I will be putting Dorian Gray on my chest and neck, so I also hit that up with Asian Powerhouse because it does help prep your skin for the next steps. This for me soaks in almost upon contact, so I don't really have to wait more than the 10 seconds in between steps for this to be dry and ready. Then I follow it up with Piper's Peat. Hi Foon, thank you so much for being here. I got this full size after the winter box, and you can see how much I have left. I use it every day, morning and night, and it's lasting me a long time. So that's very delightful. If you haven't gotten a full size yet, it's gonna last me not forever, but for a long time. And I let it sort of drip on its own directly on my skin. There's 1. Come on, there's 2. It usually falls out itself. There's 3. And then I'm gonna pat it in. I always make sure to get my chin because that's my areas of most congestion. And I've found that Piper's Peat has been the thing to really help get gunk out of my pores. and reduce pore size. Over this weekend, I put in my week 5 blog that a couple times this week, because of time and because I was having some dryness, I skipped my double cleanse in the morning. And after like 2 or 3 days, my skin felt great. Like, it felt moisturized, but I was seeing more blackheads, and I saw like one enlarged pore in my chin. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then I remembered, oh my God, my whole face used to look like this. Like, one single pore had my attention, and that's so like a year ago, there would have been my whole chin, large parts of my nose would have had those enlarged pores. And now I'm down to occasional single pores here and there, and that is just phenomenal improvement. So this is another one of the serums that sinks in. Hi, Katie. She can see but can't hear. Oh, it sounds like maybe that's something going on your end. Not okay. Everyone else can hear me though, right? You would have told me otherwise. This sinks in very quickly for me. It's now pretty much in, which now I go to spot treating with, this is tea tree and volcanic ash. Bye, Gretchen. Thanks for stopping in. Take care of yourself. This I do single drops at a time, and then I just put it where I need it. So I'm just going to put it on my chin and pat it in to where I use this when I have breakouts, but I also use it just in areas where I know I break out the most. So right now I have a few small breakouts on my chin. That's where I'm gonna do the spot treating. Okay, this takes a little bit longer. It stays tacky a little bit longer, so I'll give that a few seconds more before I go to my next step. And while I do that, I just want to say, I know that spring, it's super exciting, and we all love the warmer weather. Those of us who are getting it, and the flowers and all the outdoors activities that come along with it. But I've seen a lot of people post the past couple days that they're really struggling, and I just wanted to say that, you know, I'm holding you in my heart, and I recognize that any time of great change, even if it's just changes of the seasons, that can really bring a lot of challenges. And some people absolutely love the holidays that come along with it, but other people are grieving the loss of their family members or friends who used to be part of those traditions with them, and they're not. And so times that are great joys for some people are also really sad times for others. So just holding you all. And then of course there's the allergies, which is, my eyes have been swollen all day. I forgot to take my allergy medicine this morning and then spent the day outside. So my eyes feel like they're about this big right now. And that's just, hi Marissa, thanks for joining us. So on that little side note, I think that it's ready for more. My skin's ready for more. So now I'm going to move on to Dorian Gray Anti-Aging Serum. I already had this in my arsenal before the Spring Box, but I had set it aside for Sleeping Beauty oil for the winter, and you know, was planning on reintroducing it, but hadn't really set a date with the lovely Dorian Gray, and the Spring Box changed that for me. I initially started out using it just in the PM, and then realized that because I was seeing some results, and because I really wanted to focus on lightening my dark spots, filling in the appearance of some of my fine lines, and overall brightness, that this really should become something I thought of as an AM and PM item for myself. So I've been doing that. The difference is that at night I do a full face, full neck, full chest, and in the morning I do more of a spot treatment. In the morning I apply it to my forehead, in between my eyes, around my eyes here on both sides, and then sometimes right here along my two major creases right there. Food's asking, so you wouldn't use it with SBO? I don't think I would double up at the same exact time because they both have retinol in them. But I could do Dorian Gray in the morning, SBO at night. That's what I'd be more likely to do. And I probably will start doing that just to see if I notice a difference. I love the smell of SBO, and Dorian Gray doesn't really do it for me in the smell. Like it's once it's on my face, I can't smell at all. But with SBO, I can smell it while it's on my skin, and I really enjoy that. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see. So I'm gonna shake this up, and then I always do a few little squeezes of the plunger. And then we're gonna do same thing. I just sort of let it fall out of the dropper, unless it won't do it, and then I'll squeeze it slightly. 1, 2, 3, and then I do 1, 2, 3 on my chest. So that's 6 drops from a full size. And then I kind of spread this a little bit more. Make sure I get it all over. I want to make sure I get it around my eye. I want to make sure I get it all over my nose. And then here, so I've just dropped it right here along my chest, I kind of swipe it up. And then I also do my chest. So one of the reasons I first sought out SB was because of my neck and chest skin. I was getting really crepey skin and having a lot of lines on my chest. That was one of the reasons why I first looked for a new skincare regime. And I've seen a huge drastic difference. I think part of it is because I haven't always taken care of my chest and neck. Part of it's being a Florida girl and having so many sunburns, or even if they haven't been sunburns, but so much sun exposure right here. I think that Dorian Gray has really helped me do some damage control in that area. Madeline's asking if it slurps it up before I can spread it. No. Dorian Gray stays tacky on me for quite a long time. I usually give it a couple minutes at the minimum. Sometimes I will give it even like 15 or 20 minutes in between before I go to my next layer. Because I'm doing a live, I'm not going to do that to you guys. I just stand here and talk for 20 minutes. But I am going to go back to speaking about the Spring Box just a little bit more to give it a tad. I'm rubbing all my excess on the back of my hands in case you're wondering what I'm doing here. So back to Spring Box. So I already had Piper's Peat. That was from the Winter Box. Dorian Gray is of course from the Spring Box. Then I'm going to be also using Pearl from the Spring Box. Glow is one of the treatments that's not in the Spring Box, but I use it along to help with my dark spots. But overall, as I was comparing photographs from today to photographs from January before I started the Spring Box, my biggest takeaways were my overall skin tone was brighter and fresher. It looks less dull. You can definitely tell that I've had more sort of skin or cell turnover. It's more even. So before there was a little more of tone difference between parts of my face, like my cheeks were a little darker. Now overall my skin tone seems to be basically even. I definitely can see a decrease in the darkness of my age spots. So here's one over here. This one's starting to almost be hard to find. Which before it was kind of like, it seemed more of like a freckle or a mole, and now it's almost in the shadow realm. Sometimes I look at it and go, is that a shadow? Nope, it's my disappearing spot. I have one on my nose that's pretty much gone here. I have one on my chin, if you can get it closer, a small spot, and then the one over here is also getting smaller. When I first started, I thought that this one over here was getting larger, but what was happening was that all the skin around it was becoming more even and brighter, and was just making it easier to see the age spot in its most defined form. And now that I can see that and see what's actually uneven skin versus age spot, it's easier to tell the difference that I'm seeing. Okay, I'm still tacky, but I'm gonna keep going because we're doing a live. So one of the things I've discovered is that it's a little bit easier to do that because from here on out, I'm mostly doing targeted products in targeted areas. So I just started using Lift 2 days ago. This is brand new for me, but I've included it in my PM routine. Oops, let me break the bottle open on the door. And I'm just starting out with a single drop on my finger. This is pretty thin, so I'm rubbing it to my fingers, and then I'm doing it around my eyes, especially up here along my brow, and then around the underside of my jaw. Now I'm going to go back and look at a video that Marissa did about where she applies Lift. And I think I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2 places. I might start putting it right here to try to see if I can lift this up a little bit. Like I said, it's brand spanking new for me, so I don't really have results to report or not report, but I'm including it in my PM, so I wanted to show you. Then I move on to Pearl. And Pearl's in the Spring Box. This was another one that I had in my medicine cabinet, and I had tried and was like, I don't think it's for me. And I was gonna wait and give it to somebody who I thought might enjoy it more. And then as I was reading about it and learning about it and hearing from the other testers, I was like, okay, I need to give this another shot. And I have, and I've been really liking what I've been doing. So I use it. Oh, Madeline's saying lift on the neck. Yeah, I should totally do that. I should add that to my neck routine. Thank you. So I've been using Pearl, again, 1 drop on my finger. And then I rub it to my fingers, and then I put it on the apples of my cheeks here and my nose. The reason being, and this is one of the products where, I think I've mentioned this before, is I've discovered that I like it better, rather than patting it on, of actually helping it by massaging it in. The apples of my cheeks right here and my nose are areas where I still have some enlarged pores. So that's why I've been doing Pearl in this area, because a lot of people have reported significant increase in the shrinking of their pores with Pearl. Excuse me, my nose is running. I'm gonna wipe it real quick. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Allergy season. And one of the things that's nice about using products specifically targeted on certain parts of your face is that while the rest of my face is sort of still absorbing Dorian Gray, I can hit a few other areas with small amounts of product and feel like I'm not just assaulting myself with stickiness. So right now, I'm still tacky from Dorian Gray, probably 20 minutes. Like, it takes a long time for Dorian Gray to sink in for me. Even though I have put products up here, I'm testing down here along my jawline, still tacky. Okay. Now I'm down to Glow. You can see this little thing has seen a lot of use. The label's wearing off. And my sample has lasted me a very long time because I just use it in a few spots, as you will see. So I'm using my pinky. Okay. It's hard to see in the phone right here, but I'm adding a little bit there. I also use it on my scars. So I have some stitches up here by the corner of my eye. And then I have my spot here. And I have quite a few chickenpox scars on my face. So I've been hitting those up. And what I'm seeing, which kind of is a bit shocking to me, is with the chickenpox scar here and there, is I am definitely seeing sort of shinier skin, which to me indicates that I'm actually having some skin rejuvenation there, and it's less deep. So it's kind of filling in from the inside up. It used to be a pretty significantly deep scar, and it's becoming less deep. So that's really exciting. I never thought this would be something that I could reduce the appearance of, but Glow is helping with that. Now, I ran out of Donkey Milk Gel Sleeping Pack yesterday, and that was like down to the last molecule of it. I am a big fan. I really like it because I am acne prone. I like that I know that while it's serving as a sleeping pack and helping seal in my skin and help force all of my products into my skin, it's also helping fight acne. And so I really like using it. I tend to go really, really light, like on my forehead and my cheeks, and I go a little bit heavier here. Foon's asking how long I've been using Glow on my scars. Probably 3 to 5 months. That's about right, probably. Yeah. It hasn't been very long. And I've also noticed that the one over here is softening. So this one, if I can get close enough for you guys to actually see. It's right up in here. It's right there, basically. I had stitches right next to my eye, and for a long time it just looked like a really thick eye wrinkle. But it is softening. It's getting less hard and less rigid, and it's softening. So I'm hoping that that will also get less obvious. And I can't imagine why it wouldn't. So I have 2 options tonight. I could use my sake and rice sleeping pack as a substitute for Donkey Milk. Or I also had the thought of possibly using Blush Beauty Oil instead. Because that's what I've been doing in the AM. I've been ending with Blush Beauty Oil and massaging it into my face, and it's been helping sort of work the Lotus Serum Mist in, which sometimes for me can stay tacky, but it also just is a really delightful smell. Natalie says both! I don't think I could pull off both. I have spent almost a year, that's probably an exaggeration, since October, September, building up layers. When I first started, I could do about 2 layers and that was it. And it felt heavy. And so that I've gotten to this point is pretty amazing. And I'm really excited because I'm definitely able to hydrate deeper into my skin now than I was before. I think both of these would lead to a breakout. Okay. Yeah, Foon, you should definitely give it a shot. She's saying 3 to 5 months, got to press on and use Glow on my scars. I think it's been a combination of the Dorian Gray and Glow. And I was last summer also using red wine pressed serum, which I think was helping with my dark spots, but I don't think it was really attacking scars. Okay, so I've decided I'll go ahead and use Blush Beauty Oil as my final step tonight since I don't have a sleeping pack. That's not true, since I don't have Donkey Milk Gel Sleeping Pack. So you can see what I do in the mornings then. So I do 2 drops. 1, 2. And I learned this from Carol. Nice and hot. And then pressing it in to my eyes. I'm going to add a little bit extra so I can hit my chest and neck, since I don't normally do this. I don't normally do the oil on my chest and neck in the morning. Gotta work that in there. I definitely find that my neck gets significantly drier than my face does. So I have to treat it differently. I put way more moisturizer on it. I put more sleeping pack on it. It's completely different than the rest of my face. Okay. And so then, if I'm gonna do a little bit of just working it, I'll use these fingers. Working it in. Now, what's lovely about this is even though I felt a little bit tacky before, that is all gone. The tackiness is all gone. And now I just have this lovely moisturized and smooth face. Madeline saying, SB moisturizer? I'm not putting on a moisturizer right now. I'm using my Blush Beauty Oil as my moisturizer. Most evenings, I'm not putting on a moisturizer. I'm going directly from using Lift and Pearl to Glow and then my sleeping pack. If I'm feeling particularly dry, which is very infrequent for me, then I might add a little bit. I do have donkey milk cream, which is in the fridge in my bedroom, and I might use a little bit of that. But I find that once I'm out of the winter time here, that most of my moisturizing is coming from my serums and my beauty oils. Not a lot of like pure cream moisturizer is going on my skin. I will use it on my chest and my neck. This last week we were doing Pledge, and the room was really, really dry, like really dry. And so there were 2 days where I actually went significantly heavier with moisturizer at home, but generally no. Generally my moisturizer is coming from my serums. And she said, in the AM? No, Madeline. No. My AM routine goes vacuum cleaner cleansing oil, then Blush Beauty Oil, then I may or may not do Asian Powerhouse depending on how I'm feeling. Then I'll do Piper, then I'll do Lotus. I'll spot treat with acne if I need it. And then I will do Blush Beauty Oil, and then I'm done. That's me. Yeah. And once it gets really, really hot, I may have to cut out one of those layers, depending. Although I'm optimistic because there was a day this week, I think it might have been Friday actually, 6-day of Pledge Drive, and we were just crazy with exhaustion and stress. I went to the bathroom like maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and I was like, ugh, I look a little bit strung out, and I feel like I looked a little bit oily. So I went and got my Lotus Mist. I did a single mist. I didn't pat it in, and I went back to the bathroom maybe 20 minutes later, and the oil was gone. Like, what had felt like an oily face was now just moisturized and glowing. And I even like checked, because I was like, maybe I'm that tired that I'm hallucinating, and checked, and nothing felt oily, nothing felt greasy. So that has really helped with my oil control, and so I'm super excited to have that be a summer ingredient for me as well. Today I think we got up to 78, 79 degrees here, Fahrenheit, and it's just gonna keep getting warmer and warmer and warmer. So, okay. That's my routine. I'm going to do some final thoughts, and then I'm going to say goodnight for the last time. Ooh, all the feels. Basically, Spring Box is everything. I had bought into the idea that I needed to change my routine up a little bit per season, and for me that kind of meant like, oh, I'll just like dial back a serum, or I'll add a serum, and then that's good. What I wasn't taking into account was sort of the environmental differences, the way in which we live our lives differently. You know, how much more time I have spent outside in the past 5 weeks than the 2 months prior. The sun exposure, the lightness of the products, and the combination. So the way that all the Spring Box items work together to bolster and strengthen what they're doing for my skin is truly phenomenal, and just speaks to how well curated the Spring Box is. I am super impressed. I was prepared to like it. I was prepared to recommend it. I was not prepared to sort of relearn and discover new ways that these products could help me and take me to the next level. So I am super excited for all of you to try it and fall in love with it. I'm anxiously awaiting the full size of the Lotus Mist. That's gonna happen like instantly as soon as it becomes available. And I'm eager to learn more about how Blush Beauty Oil is going to keep growing with me. So I have a feeling that since I've transitioned from 1 drop to 2 drops, that it's going to keep growing and evolving with me. So that's everything. It has been an utter delight to get to share all these products with you and be in this reviewing process and sort of herald my spring with the spring box. I think I've said it in writing, but I felt like I've made a bunch of new friends, and I will definitely be here in the group saying hi, and I'm sure I'll pop in every once in a while with something special to say. So thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's content coming every day. So much to learn. And I guess that's it. Thank you all for being here with me and supporting me along the way. Deep breath. Okay. I love you, SBs. Good night.